Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another expert talk with Vakil Search. The topic of discussion is how IP laws can protect your brand. We're going to start by talking about the infringement case filed by Big Basket against Daily Basket. The subject matter experts joining us are Ms. Sneha Manjuran, IP legal consultant with Vakil Search, and the assistant manager for IP team, Mr. Akash Prasanna. So welcome, Sneha. Welcome, Akash.
Hi, Renoy. Thanks for having us.
Hi, Renoy. How are you?
I'm good, Akash. Thank you. And thank you guys for taking the time to do this. I know how busy you guys are. So, let's get started. So as we talked about it, this is, we're going to try and establish how can IP laws help protect a person's brand. And, before we go into that topic, we're going to discuss the case of Big Basket versus Daily Basket, the trademark infringement case that is going on right now. So, just like in a court of law, there's a prosecution, there's a defense, and I like you guys to take different sides to the case. So Sneha, you can be for the topic, and Akash, you can be against it. So we can we can present both sides of the coin here. So I'd like to hear your views on that.
So this particular case, that is Big Basket versus Daily Basket, I don't think we can say versus at this point, but then it's just, I feel, as a cease and desist order that has been issued by Big Basket to Daily Basket. And so I think this is a general procedure wherein, when a new brand enters the market, an already existing brand, if they see that there is some sort of, likelihood that them, that might adversely affect them, that particular trademark getting registered might adversely affect them, then they immediately go ahead and, file a legal notice instead of, waiting in around and, seeing how that goes, and if that actually is going to, cause a threat at any point in time. So I think this is a general course of action which any brand which is existing in the market would take. That is how, your advocates would also, your legal team, whoever your concerned legal team is, would also advise you to go ahead with it. Because it's essentially the whole point of a trademark, that is that, at the end of the day, you should have certain things, like, for example, symbols or logos or anything. It's basically your identity, right? And when somebody tries to, get a piece of something, like a piece of that identity, here the word being common, which is basket and basket, and then harping off of that goodwill to a person maybe who doesn't really know, okay, is there really a quality difference? Can I not choose this? Is this not a better alternative, right? So that is the question that it poses. So as a person whose brand is also already established in the market, or as an entity whose brand is already established in the market, that person is duty bound to, in fact, go and, file legal proceedings. And that is, I think, it's completely fine. I don't understand why it's taken out of proportion.
All right, Sneha. So that was the for argument. And according to you, this is a normal legal procedure. So it's interesting. And, thank you for sharing your view on the subject. So from here, let's move on to Akash, who's going to go against the topic.
So from my perspective, what I think is Big Basket is taking an advantage of the Daily Basket's trademark. So sending out a cease and desist notice at this point of time, I don't think it's necessary. Because if you see the prefix of both the trademarks, it's totally different. So Big Basket, it starts with big, and here it starts with daily. When it comes to the suffix, basket and basket is similar. But basket being a very generic term, I don't think Big Basket has any rights to oppose or send out a cease and desist notice to this particular trademark. Okay. Also, taking into this case, there are multiple players in the market who are into the similar goods and service, and they are using the name Basket. For instance, you can take Nachos Basket, which is owned by Godrej. So why not oppose or send out a cease and desist notice to that particular trademark? Why Daily? Why Daily Basket? Why do send out a notice to Daily Basket?
All right, guys, thank you. So both of you are presented for and against the topic. So to finally conclude this discussion, I'm going to throw counter arguments to both of you. So to Sneha, since you're for the topic, I would like to share one thought is that since you mentioned that this is a legal proceeding and this is normal procedure, my question is, it's not so much legal, but isn't there a moral responsibility within the society, even within the government or within the community, to help a startup, to help a business grow. Big Basket is a big brand right now, but they also started at some point. They also grew. And similarly, now Daily Basket also just started last year, 2020, and now they're trying to grow. So isn't there a moral responsibility to help them grow?
Right. So nobody's taking away Daily Basket's right of, actually applying for a trademark. And nobody's taking away the right of Big Basket to, file a legal notice against Daily Basket. So that moral responsibility, as far as, both the entities are concerned, the law is protecting it. Right. When someone says that they have a claim, the law has the responsibility of ensuring that, the law hears them out. At the same time, right, they will decide based on the merits of a particular case to say that, whether there is in fact a claim, whether that claim is legitimate, right? But as a person who feels aggrieved, or see, being aggrieved is again a very subjective thing, right? What you might think is quite something that you think makes you aggrieved in a particular situation might not be the same for another person, right? So that is why in law and in courts, you have to establish a locus standi as to, do you really have a claim in this matter? And as far as that is concerned, as I said, it's going to be for the authorities to decide if there is any merits in that particular case. And in that sense, yes, the moral responsibility of the government, as far as I'm concerned, is, again, the act in itself does not stop anybody from, applying for that particular trademark. They will go through the general level of scrutiny that they will go through. And in any legal proceeding, right, you cannot expect, a complete, like, very few situations I think we have come across wherein, you apply, your mark gets advertised, and then it goes straight for registration. Opposition is something that is a part and parcel of the procedure, and the procedure is done with the moral purpose that, yes, at some point in time, everybody should have the right to say or feel what they think is right from their perspective, right? And in that sense, I don't think that, any moral obligation is being violated over here, right? Big Basket is a conglomerate. But at the end of the day, it is a party and has been conducting this business. But at the end of the day, see, again, they are, it's the whole point about intellectual property is that it's a luxury, right? When you have worked really hard, you put in the money, you put in the time to, actually establish your brand, the goodwill that goes with, of course, but with regard to even the registration procedure and so on, they should go ahead with it. Why not? That's what I think.
All right, Sneha. To summarize, everyone has a right to their own rights.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, Sneha. So, Akash, here's my counter argument to you. At the end of the day, this is a business, and business can be tough, no matter what stage you're in. You can be a highly successful conglomerate, or you can be a startup. But it's tough for everyone all around, especially after this COVID situation. Also, it's become even more tough in the market. So, given the current situation, given how tough competition is, I don't want to quote Godfather over here, but there is a saying over there. This wasn't personal; it was just business.
Please do. Please quote Godfather.
Okay. So this wasn't personal; it was just business. So what I want to put forth a point is that what Big Basket is doing is just a legal or a business strategy. One could argue that. So is it really a big deal, or is it big enough to call them names as the media is?
So as you have quoted, Renoy, this is not personal, and this is a business. I would like to counter argue that. So my perspective is like, it's personal. Even though if you take it as a business, business is a collection of people. There are multiple jobs involved, multiple responsibilities involved. So through this litigation or the legal case that is happening right now, it can affect all these factors. And with this COVID and other thing happening now, this is what our economy needs. But this litigation is affecting everything. So that is what my stand is.
All right, Akash, thank you for those arguments. So I got to applaud you guys for a spirited approach to this entire case. So now let's segue into the main topic of discussion. That is, how can IP laws help protect a brand? Now we have several startups approaching us for trademark registration. At the same time, there are several startups or businesses out there that haven't really trademarked or protected their brand. So I want you to take us through how can IP laws help protect a brand?
Right. So I will be speaking mostly on the startup perspective because you bring it up, right? So as far as India as a country is concerned, we are a generally first to use country, right? Now, a first to use country, that means that, we don't necessarily, the establishment doesn't necessarily expect you to go ahead and get a registration and so on and so forth. But why does it become important, especially when you're talking about a startup? Is because the first to use logic is done with the sense that we've had, like, this is something that's come up, like the idea of trademarking, the idea of registering your intellectual property has come up towards the later end of the British era, right? But people have been running businesses, people have been doing a lot with, say, a brand or like, a familial sort of entity or whatever it is for a really long period of time. And until, of course, India becomes party to a lot of international agreements and, the amendments come as they do, till to protect that time period, that brief time period that we have is why, we have not made registration mandatory, right? But having said that, when you look at it from the perspective of a startup, it becomes very different because you are essentially having an idea. You're essentially wanting to let that idea grow, make it into a business, make it into a fruitful business at that. It shouldn't be something that, oh yeah, this is something that's happening and, it's just a half effort at best. So the logic is that at the end of the day, you're looking to, grow. And one of the important things that will be taken into consideration in that is, what are your assets? What do you start with? Right? And in that question, when that question comes to you, then intellectual property becomes really important. Your idea itself, let alone the product that you have and how you're going to be marketing it using that particular trademark, is just a part of your intellectual property. There are many factors to it. You as a startup need to identify all the intellectual property that you have, how you're going to market that intellectual property. For example, if you are a startup like the one that we just spoke about, like you're going to, be functioning through an app, right? You would essentially want to get the logo of that particular, how that app is, identified by your customer base. You would want to get that protected. Now that just becomes your trademark. There are several other factors, right? Are you looking, okay, so if you're going to do it through a website, does the website have a copyright? Should I copyright that? Is that important for my business? So there are many factors. And in that sense, registration and going ahead with, getting the right as soon as possible, getting a statutory right, let me emphasize, a statutory right as soon as possible becomes very important, right? And so in that sense, I feel like, you should understand what your business is. Talk to your professional, your consultant. Talk to that person. Understand your business. See what are the intellectual property avenues that you can explore, and then go ahead. Because this whole thing about it being a use, your use will establish your thing. It is there. Of course, it's there. Even if you want to go ahead with a registration process for any of the IPs, you need to establish some sort of, use. But at the end of the day, from a startup perspective, it becomes very important that you get that statutory right in your pocket as soon as possible. That is what I would like to say.
All right, Sneha. So you presented things from the perspective of startups. So from here, let's go on to established businesses. And that's a question I'm throwing through you, Akash. What would you say to established businesses who haven't trademarked their brand?
So with respect to your question, Renoy, of established business not registering their trademark, I would like to say there is always a risk. Registration will always give you an upfront. The first to use norm is established but not encouraged given the current scenario. So registering your intellectual property will always give you an upfront. no matter if you're a startup or a well-established company.
True.
All right, Akash, with that, we come to the end of this session. So before we conclude, I'd like to ask, are there any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, now that you have some insight as to why it becomes important for you to register your intellectual property, I would encourage everybody to like talk to their concerned consultant, understand, identify your intellectual property, and if you think that there is a scope for you to register it, please go ahead and register it. That is my final thought.
Awesome. Thank you, Sneha. Thank you, Akash.